this video, we will explore registering a TriCaster and setting up the system through the administrator mode. We will cover updating the system and accessing display and networking features. Now, the first time you run the TriCaster, you'll need to register it. The video output is watermarked until it's registered. To register the TriCaster 40, use the icon ring on the home page and choose Shutdown. Then choose Administrator Mode. From this screen, you have access to a web browser. This is useful for browsing and working with internet streaming providers. This is not meant for casual web browsing or internet use. Remember, the TriCaster is an appliance, not a computer, so always use an external computer for anything that is not directly related to the TriCaster. The Files button opens a standard Windows Explorer window for use in manually moving files on and off the TriCaster. Next, you have the Register TriCaster option. You will need two things to register: the serial number and the product ID. The serial number is found here on your TriCaster. If you didn't write it down earlier when we discussed it, write it down and keep it handy. When you click the registration button, you are shown the registration panel. You will see the product ID. Write this down along with the serial number so you have them both handy. The easiest way to register a TriCaster is to have the TriCaster connected to the internet. Simply click here and follow the prompts. At the end of the process, you are given an unlock code. Write this down along with your product ID and serial number and keep them in a safe place. The unlock code is entered here to complete the registration and remove the watermark from the output. If the TriCaster does not have internet access, you can go to a computer that does and go to this web page and register. If you have no internet access at all, you can call support services with your serial number and product ID and talk to a representative who can generate an unlock code for you over the phone. Remember, web registration can happen 24/7, but support services is only open from 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time Monday through Friday, and from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. Next, we have the icon for updating the TriCaster from the internet. If you registered, you will be notified via email that an upgrade is available. Make sure the TriCaster is hooked up to the internet and click the Update button to download and install an update. Next, we have a button for defragmenting your hard drives. As you record and delete files from a hard drive, it can become fragmented over time. This can slow down the drive's access speed, decreasing performance necessary for multi-stream video playback and recording. This option defragments all the drives attached to the system. As you use the TriCaster, it is possible to add custom content like live sets from Virtual Set Editor, or you can apply updates to the system over time. This information is all saved to the C drive. If your C drive has issues or becomes corrupt, you could lose all the custom content and updates that were applied. TriCaster 40 allows you to periodically create images of the C drive with your additions. So, if you have to back up the system and then do a restore, you will be restoring it with all of your additions and all of your custom content. The System Backup and Restore feature is something that you will want to have help doing at least the first time. This is a technical process. Please contact your reseller or new tech support services for advice on using this feature. You also have access to a command prompt for the system. Next is the Settings area. Here you have access to several control panels. First, you can adjust the region and language for the system. This only changes the text in any Windows requesters. It does not change the interface text. You have control of the keyboard variables as well. Next, you can set the system time and date. This is important because when you record, you will be stamping the recording with the time of day, and you want that to be accurate. Next is the Network Configuration panel, allowing you access to network setup and control. And finally, you have access to the display controls for setting up primary and secondary monitors and adjusting them. Click on the Display button. If you have two monitors plugged in, hit the Detect button so that the system sees them. Hit Identify, and large numbers will appear on the monitor showing which is the main display, number 1, and which is the secondary monitor, number 2. You can now switch the monitors by clicking on either monitor in the display requester and then click Make this my main display. If the selected monitor is already the main display, it will tell you this. Finally, you have the option to exit to Windows or go back to TriCaster. Even though the TriCaster runs on Windows, you don't want to treat it like a computer. Don't try to use it for other computer-related tasks like web browsing, email, messaging, and such. Only install software from NewTek made for the TriCaster. Now, some third-party software, such as Adobe Flash Live Media Encoder, is pre-installed. Do not update these packages to newer versions manually. It is quite likely that doing so will have unintended results. We will include these updates in a TriCaster update when it's needed. Now, virus and malware protection applications can dramatically impact system performance. You should always take sensible precautions to avoid introducing infected files into the TriCaster by rigorously virus checking media you plan to connect before you connect it to the TriCaster. Have a laptop handy with full protection on it, and attach any USB drive or media you intend on attaching to the TriCaster to find problems before you connect. If you really feel you must install virus protection, switch all active scanning operations off. Then, only when you need to do so, perhaps on a daily or weekly schedule, perform a manual scan. Now, regarding codecs, TriCaster supports the vast majority of popular image, audio, and video codecs. If a file you would like to use does not play back well or at all, please convert it using the TriCaster's Import Media feature. Loading unknown codecs to the TriCaster can impact the system performance negatively.